I got 2 minutes after the hour. We're going to go ahead and get started because we do have a little. I usually do an icebreaker, but for this session, we have a poll question set up for you all. So thank you again for joining us this morning for our fourth session of our Education and Awareness campaign. Our session four title is Workforce in After School Time Programming. You'll see now on the next slide here, we have a poll question. This question is, what do youth need most? So Michael, will that be on the screen or should they use the chat? It's on the screen. All right. So right there on the screen, easy click for you. I want to ask everyone on the session right now this morning to answer that question. What do youth need most? Give another 20 seconds. So we can get the answers here. All of the above. How did all of the above land on there? I didn't see that all of the above. All right. Okay. We'll go ahead and stop that poll for right now, Michael. If you don't mind. All right. Next, before we introduce our presenter, we're going to introduce you all to the STEM Next Opportunity Career Connected Learning Framework. This is a research-informed practice aligned to guide and help, particularly out-of-school time programs, intentionally build career-connected learning experiences for the young people. This unlocks future-ready mindsets and employability skills rather than focusing solely on job placement. So, who should use this resource? The framework supports system leaders, such as the network here itself, in our effort to help providers assess the quality of their work. After school and summer program staff are also encouraged to use this framework to increase their understanding of career-connected learning and ultimately offering high-quality out-of-school time experiences for youth that they serve. The out-of-school time space is unique and has an advantage with the time. The flexibility that we have, the relationships that we have with young people, we really have an opportunity to introduce them using this resource to career-connected learning. The next slide here, it's kind of just a review of what the framework provides and what it is connected or how it is connected to learning. So you'll see the outline of the framework identifying 3 stages of career-connected learning. That's preparedness, awareness, and exploration, as well as 4 foundational strategies under each of those stages and tactics to help implement this framework. What does that mean and what is all that's to be said? So here, those 3 stages again, you can see they're even broken down by grade bands or grade levels. So you got your elementary, middle, and high school. It also, underneath each of those stages, lists the primary focus for each of the stages. So when we think about awareness at the elementary level, it's introducing youth to the concept of work and the value of lifelong learning. When we look at the column in career exploration, here for our middle schoolers, it's all about exploring. Youth increase awareness of different careers and training or educational needs to reach those career interests. And then finally, at the high school level, preparedness. Here's we have our young people hone in on a career choice and help them to develop a clear vision of what their path beyond high school could be, gaining hands-on experiences. Here again, just outlining the strategies for each of the 3 stages. So you'll see the broad skill development, the career-connected STEM, family and community engagement, as well as connected pathways and partnerships. The career awareness stage. Same for your career exploration stage. And lastly, for the career preparation stage. Some of those strategies will definitely overlap, so they don't necessarily go in order, because it's possible that you have a student in middle school that never had the opportunity to explore the awareness piece that we want our younger grades to do. So while you see the framework listed in the ABC order, just understanding that those tactics to meet those needs there can be um, moved throughout the different grade bands. Just giving some quick examples that an OST provider um, could put in front or support students being connected to careers outside of what you're going to hear today with the venture labs and the materials and resources used in that organization. You could also bring in guest speakers. You could use those kind of career cards in the table games to have young people begin to talk about what their interests are in careers. You could have them doing reflection journals, STEM design challenges linked to real world problems, or even entrepreneurship pop-up labs. And I'd ask for you to stick around for an announcement that will support a possibility for you to have a pop-up lab, which is a great segue to today's presentation. Now that we understand how to strengthen career-connected learning through the framework, our next step is to explore youth entrepreneurship. When we look at these helpful definitions around growth mindset, work-based learning, durable skills, and again, just being career connected, you'll see the growth mindset and the durable skills be two of them that stick out greatly when we're talking about youth entrepreneurship. It is my pleasure now to introduce our main speaker for today's session, Scott Mann. I won't read his bio right off the cue here on the slide deck as you see, but in my working and communication with Scott, I just want to let you know that he's available, he's flexible with scheduling, he's really professional with the technical assistance in his expertise around the knowledge of young people working in youth entrepreneurship. Scott is connected to the 50 state networks across the country, and we're just really grateful to have him here today in Pennsylvania to support our out of school time community. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Scott and go from there. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Contrell. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. I really appreciate it. And Michael, I'm going to share my screen if that's all right. And by way of intro, I'm probably going to be presenting from an open slide deck as we turn this webinar into a webinis, which is a really bad dad joke. A webinis is when we interact, is when we workshop, is when we try to practice what we teach. And a webinar not going to just talk at you the whole time. So that was my first attempt at the webinar joke. So you can let me know mixed reviews. But I am the director of education with VentureLab. I come from a classroom. I was an educator and taught in the state of Texas, rural and urban school districts. OST was my happy place. I always wondered why my kids ran out of the classroom going down to Boys and Girls Club just so fast. As soon as the bell rang, I was like, what are y'all doing down there? And why don't I get that same energy? So actually, I learned a lot from these OST providers and then eventually went and did summer learning and integrated those same best practices that I saw in positive youth development into what I was doing in the classroom. So I have lots of respect for the OST summer learning crowd, and it's an honor to work with you all at VentureLab. As Contrell said, we are the technical assistant in youth entrepreneurship to the Mott 50 State After School Network. We've worked over the past 8 years with 17 of the 50 directly, and I've been honored to go to Pennsylvania and do some professional developments, and happy to zoom in and work with you today. VentureLab as an organization, I'm not going to talk a lot about it. VentureLab.org, you can go to our website and see the services and resources that we offer as we serve our global and statewide community. So we're going to we're going to get right into the work. Some of the best things about a webinar or a conference or a gathering are the people we meet and learning something about someone new and making those connections. That's the same thing that we want to do with our students in our programs. So we're going to do just that. In the chat, I'm going to hit enter, and everything that you need will follow you into the chat rooms. Your goal here is to open this resource. It's a mindset scavenger hunt. It looks something like this on our thumbnail. Introduce yourselves. And what was your first, it has job on the slide, but I revised that. What was your first work experience? Maybe it wasn't a job necessarily, but what was your first work experience? And how did you see those mindsets? Your goal as your team is to check all these boxes on the scavenger hunt in your conversation. So Michael, if you'll open up those breakout rooms, we're going to give you about a minute per person. So there'll be a 5-minute quick chat, and then we'll bring you back in to share. So enjoy. Hey, here they come back. How's it going, Casey? Did you have some interesting conversations? Hey, good. We got thumbs.
Yes, we did have good conversations.
Awesome. Can I pick on you?
I don't care.
Sweet. Thank you. And as everyone is about to be completely piled back in, welcome back, everyone. We were just getting started. Casey volunteered. Thank you. To share one of Casey, tell us something that someone in your breakout room said. What was their first work experience and which mindset did they most identify with using?
Well, it was interesting because one of my group members and I had a similar first job. Hers was on a grander scale, though. We both were house cleaners, or she was cleaning a hotel, though. So she said, as a hotel cleaner, she had to learn accountability, which is very important. And then I was just cleaning my grandmother's house, so she was paying me, and I learned that I don't like cleaning. So that was ultimately my takeaway from that experience.
Isn't that so great though, that
Yeah.
one of the early work experiences and learning is like what I don't want to do.
Right.
Almost more valid and more
Yes.
likely.
Yeah, absolutely. For
Also
sure.
interesting the scale, even just like having the responsibility to and persistence on a small scale to clean a room versus 100 rooms. That when we think about creating meaningful learning experiences for youth, it doesn't have to be large in its scale. It can be very small and intentional.
Oh, that's a very good point. Yep.
All right. Well, I picked on Casey, but I love a volunteer. Thanks, Casey.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Please let us know something that you heard in your breakout room. I'm going to pick on my group that I was in there. We had some people that worked in pizza. We had a couple, and babysitting were two common. Which mindsets did you use in those? I don't know, Hannah, Jenny, who's going to jump in? Tell me.
Well, definitely for babysitting creativity. I remember I had a kit that I had puppets and I had books and I had crafts and games. So I had to be creative with the kids that were in front of me to keep entertaining and engaging them.
Excellent one. Yeah, creativity. Although you got to idle hands and whatnot, you got to keep those kids busy. I love that. I'd love to hear from one more breakout room. What was that conversation, those early work experiences that you learned about someone?
I'll jump in. Hi.
Come on.
So, Ralph Anderson and I had a really good conversation, and I think someone already said this, but early on, teams know what they don't want to do. But Ralph brought up a great point about mentorship. So it's saying, okay, great. I know what you don't want to do, but did you think about all of these other options and possibilities? So just exposing teams to all of the possibilities and encouraging them to try anything and everything until they know for sure that they don't want to do it. But
Yes.
this idea of just it takes a village to really impact a child's life.
Uh, Thank you for sharing, Melvina. And I see that as a really a big strength of the after school networks, and what Poseidon brings to this community is that network of helping make connections and providing opportunities, not just to youth, but to staff and programs as it connects to this larger ecosystem, because that's the village. So different ways, looking for ways to work with Poseidon, definitely going to be beneficial to your program. Well, thanks for that first opportunity to connect and talk to each other. That idea of those mindsets that are on that page as you clicked and saw the 12 there, and then those words aren't proprietary to VentureLab or even youth entrepreneurship. These are strong leadership skills, character development, which brings me to my next slide, which I'm going to propose as a bit of a discussion. In your program, what do you call those words? These, what VentureLab puts together in this group as entrepreneurial mindsets. What do you call them? You can chat, unmute, holler at us.
Transferable skills. I've often referred to them that way, or when students are saying, I can't do this because I don't have experience with this, or how do I get a job in that if I haven't done this before? And so we focus on what skills can be transferred into a different environment.
Thank you, Janae and Melvina. SEL, I put social on there, being the S in the social emotional part, most definitely. Oh, 21st century, Teresa. I've subtract some points from Scott because that should definitely have been on there. Also for talking in the third person, you can take some more points. Durable, yes. I think that is how STEM Next, when you click through to their framework, and I'm actually going to drop this in the chat for laters. Be sure to click on this, bring it up in your browser window, and come back to it so you can do a deep dive on what Contrail was sharing there. Anybody had any, are these triggering at all for people? Going around the 50 states, it's always interesting to know or to think about and discuss the nuance of the word and a meaning and how that might be used in a program or when communicating with industry and government.
I'll just add, Scott, here from the network and our outreach to business and industry leaders, some of the common language is employability. They're looking for the employability skills for young people to either enter the workforce right out of high school or if they choose to get a training or certification to do that. So employability kind of shines here in Pennsylvania in our conversations with business and industry folk.
And people on the screen, we got thumbs. Do y'all find that to be true? Is that also kind of a common framework and language that you all use when maybe talking about your program at a higher level? Maybe not directly with students yet, but okay.
And I would just also add, I know I hear a lot in workshops about the soft skills and providing soft skills and make sure that the young people have the soft skills. Someone gave a little rebuttal to soft skills, and maybe it was a new name or a new way to look at it, to be like not a soft skill as if it was soft or small, but the important pieces to get their foot in the door.
Yes. Yeah, whatever you call it, we're showing up for kids. This is positive youth development. We want to develop them as kind, caring, confident human beings. And I always think when I look out and when I was an educator in front of students, frontline, but just having a positive framework and thinking about youth and this is kind of what they need and what needs to change. And yes, those things are valid, but I also want to bring an abundance mindset and this attributing and seeing our students as amazing humans. And I know you do, but I want to take a second to bring this lens of entrepreneurial mindsets and skills, have a conversation with you. How do you see your students right now practicing these mindsets and skills? Give me a little story. Janae, you going to start us off?
Yeah, I have a quick story. So I was giving a writing workshop actually in a large urban high school here in Philadelphia. And a lot of the writing relates to then, can you get published? Can you use it for a college admission essay? Can you use the stories that you pulled from your past and the character development that you're kind of elucidating through those stories in an interview to get a summer job or get an internship or get a scholarship? And one of the students came up to me and said, my sister is studying at Temple University for advertising. Can she call you about an internship? And I was like, wow, like he was thinking outside the box and making a connection and taking advantage of an opportunity. So I admired that young man's kind of, go get it attitude. That was great.
Opportunity seeking, definitely. Casey?
I have a story we are running an after school program at a middle school, and I'm trying to base it on a club experience, and I would like the youth to be more involved and have ownership of what's happening during those after school opportunities. And I was able to finally make it happen. We just started our program in March. It's the C12 program. So a student wrote a play, and she is directing it and casting it. And so we are working on that opportunity right now, and it's going really well so far. So fingers crossed that we'll be able to. It's supposed to be happening in February. So they're working on it 3 days of the week. And yeah, really excited about this opportunity.
That gives me the teacher goosebumps. Casey, that's spectacular. I encourage you to take that mindset scavenger hunt, and I'll drop some other resources and present that student with those words. Like, you are being extremely resourceful. You are an opportunity seeker. You are creative. And sometimes we see students and think that, but to give a student that word and to build their identity, and they're like, oh yeah, I am creative. And you're like, that's that win. That is. And then when we connect that to employability skills in this future, um, a lot of times when they're young, we think that it needs to be a direct connection to a job. And that's why I changed it to like a work experience, heavy on the experience part, experiential learning, which is what you all do in the OST field so well, is creating meaningful learning experiences. And youth entrepreneurship maybe is a lens that we can bring into, not to replace, but to build upon what you're already doing. Uh, Time for one more story, if anybody has moved to share.
I'll share. So Denise Britton is on this webinar as well. So anyway, we started working with, we started out as a summer program, decided we needed to continue the education that we were doing in the summer camp. And basically what we have done is we partnered with a school district to look at introducing instructional time during their already after school program. So partnering with them in something that they're already doing so that we can enrich and enhance what they're already doing. So the partners that we have are like Harrisburg University, Penn State University, the Library Association, the Audubon Association, financial literacy, food literacy. And what we have done is it is just to the point where, because we started with fifth graders, and so it is introducing different aspects of different careers and pathways. And the one that, was really exciting for them was they actually got to go to Penn State University and experience what it was like in a lab to do DNA testing. So we're just getting started. We've only had 2 seasons now with our summer program. We have one after school season under our belt. We're entering into the next one this year due to some challenges with the state and the budget. We had to pull back until we knew that, the funding was going to be there, blah, blah. But anyway, so we're looking forward to restarting our after school program in 2026.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Donna. I appreciate it. And just an aside that is not just an aside, but also pointing out as we seek to grow these entrepreneurial mindsets and skills, employability skills in the youth that we serve, also recognizing that we ourselves use these same mindsets every day. If you're in an administrative or coordinator position, your frontline staff, you want to see them exhibit these attributes and mindsets as well. So thinking about opportunities for professional development for them to practice what they're teaching, modeling those mindsets appropriately for students, and then you yourself for staff, depending on where you are in your organization. Definitely some layers to this where we can reflect and grow professionally as well. Thank you for sharing those stories. I appreciate it. I would love to just have a round robin, but for time constraints, we're going to move forward. And I want to share another tool when we think about how the scavenger hunt is one tool. Another tool that is in the chat. And Donna talked about kind of using what's existing. How can we take this into our after school summer learning environment now? This is a session outline that VentureLab developed with our work, specifically with the OST community, because we often found that frontline staff may not have the time or resources to get to that level. They're worried about and thinking about classroom management, about the transitions, about snacks. So how do we help them get to this level of intentionally teaching this vocabulary? Very simple. We call it our session outline. It's help them set up routines and procedures, beginning, middle, and end. So at the start, they use our mindset cards. So this is an online website where they can simply draw a new card. And it's those 12 mindsets. The definition is there. There's a discussion or an activity prompt. That's the start. 2 to 5 minutes. Very simple. Then whatever activity they have queued up for the day, that's the activity that's run, whether it's a STEM, a Lego, a sports, whatever that happens to be. And then when they're done, the end of that is coming back, and we know that crucial step in really solidifying learning is that reflection piece and the analysis of what did we just experience. So very simple. Which mindset did you use? How'd you use it? And then we help them take that step into how might you use this mindset outside of this activity. And that's where we get to make that bridge into this employability skill framework. And that I'm going to bring back over. So I encourage you to take this and give it to your staff and have them utilize that and employ it. Bringing us back to STEM Next, and Contrail presented us with these 4 different framed awareness, exploration, and preparation. Their primary sources and materials that they pulled from is from the American Institute of Research, AIR. And AIR has this beautiful visual here that I'm sharing screen and showing that helps me kind of see what this continuum of learning and career education can look like and should look like to be developmentally appropriate. And this, again, starting young with these opportunities. And pulling down into this bottom part, I dug through the multi-page report. I'll drop it in the chat again, because for those of you who are word nerds like me, I like to dig through the research and do some reading. So that's there for you for later. Be sure to click on it so it pops up in your browser for later. But this idea of creating learning experiences, even if they do not develop specific knowledge and skills for specific future occupations. So you don't have to be teaching them how to code or how to do whatever technical skill that can come later in this continuum. When we're talking about these K through 6th grades, giving yourself a little bit of flexibility and freedom to create meaningful learning experiences that we know in OST, it needs to be fun. It needs to be engaging. It has to look a little different from the school day when they used to walk out of my classroom and be so excited. And they come to your space to be excited as well. One of the ways that we can do that and what that can look like, because I want to make sure that you leave with tools, is simple single activities. So this activity right here is called Wacky Inventions. In just a moment, we are going to put you back in those same breakout rooms. And we're going to introduce a constraint of time because of where we're at. That's always a fun one. So I'll drop this in the chat, and then I'll quickly model what this looks like. So when you click on the link, it's going to take you to another no-cost resource that is a digital interactive page. You can draw new cards, and it will present you with 2 objects. So we're thinking about our younger kids, K5, also works for older students. It's about to work for us. So we take our 2 objects and we follow the instructions. So we're going to observe and ask these questions about each object separately. So here I have a watch and a broom. And then we're going to brainstorm ways that we can combine these 2 objects. There's no wrong answer to create a wacky invention. And then we're going to pitch this wacky invention to convince everyone here in this space why they need it in their lives. So I'm going to skip and begin with the end in mind. I've got a watch and a broom. So I've gone through the questions, and now I'm going to give you my pitch. Is your house a little dirty? Do you often find that you just don't have the time or the energy when you come home to clean it up? Well, that's why I have invented the Sweeper Sweeper 5000. With the Sweeper Sweeper 5000, you just come home and you hit that button right there by the door, and the Sweeper Sweeper activates and cleans your entire house in under a minute. So call now, 555-5555, and you too can have the Sweeper Sweeper 5000. There you go. So in your breakout rooms, Michael's about to bring that back up. Go have some fun, apply your entrepreneurial thinking, and we'll have a time for a few of y'all to share your amazing pitches. Michael, cue the breakouts. Again, if your pop-up join breakout room does not happen, move some windows around. And if you need to stay in the main room as well, we can make this a space. We got a preview. Ada's got a stereo and some tennis rackets. Are you going to be giving us that pitch? She was like, maybe.
We actually didn't pick a spokesperson, so.
Well, it's not Contrail. He is recused and often accused. Hey, welcome back, everybody. So we got it. So we are 6 minutes until the hour. I would love to hear from a very excited entrepreneur who needs to tell us very badly in 30 seconds or less about their wacky invention. So who's got us?
I can go. I'll do it. All right. We had a scissors and chair, so combined. Here's the pitch. Haircuts, everybody needs haircuts. They cost too much and it takes too much time to go to the barber shop, the salon. So why not get it at home? You can now do that with the barber shop in a chair where you preset your haircut, you sit down, put the hood over your head, and it'll cut your hair in under 10 minutes. It saves you hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your life and many, many minutes of your life. It's so easy, even the dog can do it. There we go.
Yeah, let's give Kyle and his team a round of applause. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fun. Just follow the room. I want to see this prototype. We're gonna have to check that out. Wait, let's do one more. If it could be about that length or shorter, we got time for one more. Y'all did some quality work in there. Come on. Who's got us?
Do a quick one. We had flippers and a crown, and so we are bringing the Princess Pool party to a place near you for just $200 an hour. We'll bring pizza and crowns, backdrop. We've got it, the full party taken care of. So hire us for the Princess or Prince Pool Party. PPP LLC we were thinking of for the name.
You go. Hey, well played. Let's give him just a little standard hand clap. Well played. Well played. Yeah, wacky inventions, y'all. To tie a bow on this, this is an activity you can take and do in a 10 to 15 minute. Remember our session outline? That's your activity in the middle. So thinking about how we end it, which mindset did you just use during that activity? Somebody unmute and tell me which mindset. Oh, yeah?
Several. Curiosity, growth mindset, courage for presenting, right? There's so many. Those are just some.
Perfect. Who else?
Resourcefulness. You're coming up with new ideas off of things you have.
Yes.
Problem solving.
Lots of problem solving. Courage. Opportunity seeking.
Optimism with that hair cutting machine that was brought up. So
Yes. Talk about some insurance and liability. We're gonna have to look into that, Kyle. But I think the empathy there, thinking about the needs of others, it's like, what is it? How can I help people? And yeah, in things like sustainable development goals, there are some wicked systemic problems, but there's also just like everyday needs of our friends and family, which is a great way to enter into this. So with that, 3 minutes left, we have several ways that we see starting early. Our students are already thinking like entrepreneurs. We can integrate this vocabulary into our existing program using the mindset bingo, using our session outline. We can bring in individual activities like wacky inventions. There are other opportunities on our website for these no cost, very easy to implement activities. And then this segues over to what Contrail is going to present with the funding opportunity. VentureLab is proud to partner with Poseidon to offer some financial and technical assistance support for you to bring entrepreneurial learning to your students as a club and a program, or as they develop those ideas, opportunities for them to receive mentorship and materials to take their idea even further. Contrail, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Let's go ahead and show Scott our appreciation for his expertise and information and activities he shared with us here today. As you see in me introducing Scott across all 50 states, he does an excellent job for the networks, and we're really proud to partner and have him on the team. So yes, we have an opportunity here at the network to re-grant 10 programs throughout Pennsylvania with an opportunity to dabble in, explore, and even expand current youth entrepreneurship opportunities that you offer. Now, when you read the application, it'll have that extending or current youth entrepreneurship. If you're not dabbled in youth entrepreneurship at all, that doesn't disqualify you. Although the language says we want to grow what's already there, if you're going to get your foot in the door and get started, we want to be one of the people to help you do that in organizations. Through a grant this year from VentureLabs, Poseidon again will re-grant 10 programs, $1,000 stipend to take on the task of introducing or expanding your youth entrepreneurship activities in out-of-school time. Won't break down every piece of the grant because you will have the opportunity to read through that as soon as you log off here today, as Rachel will be sending that email out. You may be getting that invite twice because we're sending it out statewide, not just to all that are on this call or session here today. So we're really excited. That $1,000 again stipend, you can use that to hire staff. You can use it to bring a mentor in that will work particularly with some students in entrepreneurship. You can break that stipend down and incentivize the students that are participating in the program by giving them a gift card or some type of cash value. That $1,000 is to do what you have to do in implementation. The materials and supplies to support what is going on will come from Scott and his team at VentureLabs. So you will schedule, or there will be 4 different training sessions that you'll be required to attend, about 30 minutes apiece, and get those materials so you know how to use them and then implement that in your programs. So with that being said, I won't keep beating this down, but we're really excited to introduce youth entrepreneurship in the out-of-school time programs here in Pennsylvania. So we hope that you all take advantage of this opportunity and apply. All right, as we're going to close out, like I've always done in the past 3 sessions here for our education and awareness campaign with an African proverb. I think this month's proverb falls right in line of what we're talking about here with youth entrepreneurship and actually the polling question that we have. So first, when we think about that polling question of what do youth need most? Supportive adults, opportunity, skills, confidence, or all of the above. I want to close out with this African proverb that says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is to plant one now. So when we look at us as a whole, as the supporting adults, we have the opportunity to provide and sharpen the skills of our young people to build that confidence. And then we know that confidence in the out of school time drips over into the regular school day. And when students have confidence in the regular school day, they participate more in class. They raise their hand and ask questions. They even take challenging tasks that they may not have done before engaging in the out of school time space. Last and not least, they become more persistent through difficulties. And we know that as building resilience. So let's get this application filled out. If you're not fortunate to get this round, we're going to keep continuing to work with Scott and his team to bring youth entrepreneurship to the out of school time space. With that being said, just want to thank you all for joining us here today. Look forward to those applications. Deadline is on the application. Notification date is on the application. Everything that you need, we believe, is on the application. But if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out here to the network. We will cut out some time and break it down to you to see the best possibility for you and your programs. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a safe, enjoyable, and some time off next week, spending that time with friends and family. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Go have some fun with those kiddos.